Okay, on this particular leg of this, I just ran out of road. It went to what I guess you could laughingly call a paved road with a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit, which I wasn't going down, and a dirt road, which obviously wasn't going to go down in this thing. So anyway, so I'm going to head back up to the park. I think there's another road out of the park that we haven't seen yet. So we'll do a little riding through here. If you guys are like me, you might dabble around with Facebook a little bit or some of the other social media sites, and something came by the other day and that was kind of interesting. You see them every now and then. It's where, you know, old people like me post stuff about all the stuff that we used to do as kids and our parents let us do. Oh wow, look at that view. And our parents let us do that nowadays would either get your parents arrested or get you removed from the home and put into a foster home. Look at this, isn't this something? Golly. But I'll give you an example. When I was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years old, my dad, we would ride from Charlotte to Raleigh, actually through Troy, North Carolina, and into Raleigh to see my grandfather. And it's a good 3-hour drive. And a lot of the time he'd have me sitting in his lap driving the car. You know, I mean, when I say sitting, of course, I mean I'm standing there holding onto the steering wheel. And of course he's driving it too, but I'm just, you know, standing there right behind the wheel. Now, we didn't have airbags. We didn't even have seat belts. You know, they weren't required. Nobody knew anything about them. You know, the seat belts came from racing. That was the development in racing, and the manufacturer started putting it in cars that we were all able to get. Now nowadays, you'd be thrown in jail for that. I mean, when I wasn't sitting in his lap driving the car, I would be that little shelf at the back window. You know, and like in your 4-door sedan, that little shelf back there where you always throw a hat or a box of Kleenex or something like that. That's the other place I'd be. Or I'd just be standing up running all over the car. You know, I mean, that's just how it was back there. We weren't unique. My parents weren't being, they loved me. They weren't being cruel to me or mean to me or anything like that. That's just what people did. If you had a pickup truck and you wanted to run into town or somewhere, you'd throw as many kids in the neighborhood in the back as you could, and you'd take them up to the store, buy them all a soft drink or, you know, a hot dog or something. Again, you can't do that anymore. You can get away with it in some of the smaller towns and maybe out in the country, but, you know, they'll throw you in jail for that. But here's a typical day when I was a kid, and I'm saying I'm probably about 8 or 9 years old. Maybe a little older, but probably not. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. I grew up in a neighborhood, a real nice neighborhood. When I mean by nice, I mean everybody was nice. I won't say we were okay. We were middle class for sure. We weren't any better than that. We might have been lower middle class, but we had a real nice house, nice neighborhood. Lots and lots of kids in my neighborhood, my age. Right around my age, maybe a year or two older, a year or two younger. Lots of us here. You'd always get up enough for a football game or baseball game or something like that. But anyway, when I was younger, when I was 8 or 9 years old, this is how it would go in the summertime. My dad would be off at work. Mom was home. My mother didn't work. I don't think I knew a single mother on the block that worked. All the moms were always home. And the kids would get up, and she'd feed me breakfast. And, you know, like I said, if it's summertime, if it's going to be 80 degrees, 70, anything better than 75, 80 degrees, chances are the only thing I'm wearing is a bathing suit, or my swim trunks. Because a lot of times later in the afternoon, she'd take me to the swimming pool, and we could go swimming. So I just wear my swimming trunks. So I'm barefoot, no shirt, no hat. And I'd eat breakfast, and she'd say, okay, go outside and have some fun. You can't stay in the house. And she'd pretty much throw me out of the house, along with all the other kids in the neighborhood who their mothers threw them out of the house. Now we're a pack of 8 and 9-year-olds, and we're all over the place. Now I was somewhat of I was a kid who was always able to self-entertain. In other words, I didn't need other people around to have a good time. I could always find something to do that I really liked. And so there wasn't anybody around, it'd be just me, and I'd hang out in the backyard. I might go in the neighbor's yard. Now it was a hard rule that I could not go across the road. It was a 2-lane road, it was a busy road, and my mother said, you cannot go across the road. You can stay on our side, and you can go to these houses all around us. So there were about 6 or 7 houses all around me where she was, more than happy for me to go and spend my day. And I'd go out and hang around and just play, ride my bicycle, do whatever I wanted to do. And when lunchtime came, we had a bell mounted on the side of the post beside the back door, and you just pull on the string and it would ding, 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 and she would ding that when it was lunchtime. And I would hear it wherever it was, and she'd probably call my name. She might even whistle. She was a real good whistler. She could whistle without her fingers really loud, something I've never learned. I can blow you out of the room if I use my fingers, but I can't whistle worth a hoot loudly without using them. But she could do that, and I'd hear her, and she'd holler, and I'd have to holler back that I was on the way, and I'd come back and eat lunch. So I'd eat lunch, and she'd probably keep me in the house for an hour or so, make sure I wasn't getting sunburned. And then she'd send me out again. And she'd tell me that she would call me when it was time. If we were going to go to the pool, she'd tell me we were going to the pool. Or sometimes we went right after lunch. She'd take us, take me, she'd take my sister. And, that's just how it was back then. You can't do that now. There was an article on the internet about a family that are getting in trouble. They say they're free-ranging their children. Like a free-range chicken. There are no fences. They do the same thing that my mother did. They send me out. They send their kids out, and one of them is 6 and one of them is 10, and they send them out and let them walk to the store or walk around the neighborhood and play all by themselves with nobody. Well, as you can imagine, they're getting in a lot of trouble with the law. The very last time, about 5 o'clock, the mother told the kids, said, "Okay, you got to be back by 5 o'clock." I don't know whether the kids have a watch or a cell phone or what they have, but about 5 o'clock, a police officer saw him walking down the road, down the sidewalk, and pulled over and put him in his car and took him to the social service people, and didn't call the parents. Didn't say a word to them. What is this here? Tell you what, we're going to go back up here a little ways, and then maybe we might come back and look at this road again. I want to see what it's like up this way. All right, anyway. So they're in big trouble. They didn't call their parents. They didn't call their parents till about 7 or 8 o'clock that night. And by that time, their parents are frantic, of course, as you can imagine. It was all just to teach them a lesson. Now, how whack is that? To put the parents through something like that. I don't know what kind of system the parents had, and I don't know. I'm not saying, please don't think that I'm saying that it's okay in this day and age to let a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old out by themselves. It depends. I think it depends a lot on where you live, what your neighborhood is, whether you have friends that are home. When I was a kid, all the moms were home. All the moms knew where we were. If my mother ever wanted to know where I was, she'd just get on the phone and call 2 or 3 people, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, they're out here in the backyard," or "Oh yeah, I just saw them go over to the next yard," or whatever. Everybody looked after everybody else's kids. I don't know that they still do that, but I know that it was that's the way it was when I was a kid. But it was funny. We were discussing this on Facebook and how things have changed. And I don't know that I don't think they've changed for the better. I mean, I talked to my wife about. Oh wow! I talked to my wife about this, and we discussed it, and she says, "Oh, there's no way I'd let my kids do that. They just can't do it." And I said, "Well, why we feel that way? Because now, no matter where you are in the country, if some creep, grabs a kid." it's all over national news. If it happens in, you know, Bismarck, North Dakota, I'm going to hear about it in North Carolina, and everybody freaks out. So anyway, that's it. That's all I had to say on that. We're kind of riding, I'm riding back to this park. I think there was a road up here off of this park, right up here. Let's check it out. All right, talk to you later. Okay, we're riding up in this state park, and just gonna ride around up here a little bit, see what's up in this way. I don't think this isn't part of the road. I'll probably have to go back to that road where we were, but I just think I'll ride up through here. Oh, some really nice areas up here. Unbelievable. This is the place you got to come if you can come up this way. Yeah, look at a lot of these trees are dead through here. I don't know what's caused that. They're not leafing out. Looks like a lot of the branches are gone on them. We're not up that high. I mean, we're really, all these other trees are budding out, putting some leaves on them, but ride down here a little ways, see what's down here. Oh boy, it's getting to be about 2 o'clock. I'm gonna have to speed this up a little bit in some areas because I've got, if I hit Atlanta, I'm gonna hit a little bit of Atlanta traffic only, looks like. These are campground areas out here. It looks pretty nice. Nice little road to ride on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with all these trees. I don't know what's killed them all. It's really kind of freaky up here. I have no idea where I'm going through here, so I think I'm just gonna turn around and go back to the main road. Explore this on another time, because I am going to run short on time and I do want to try that other little bit of road that we just saw. They got all kinds of nice stuff out here. I have to get a map of this area, come back and ride some more of these roads, but golly, it's just so bleak here. Oh, I see the tower up there. Or tell me you can go up in the tower and look around. I will again save that for another trip out this way. I'm sure my wife is going to want to come out here. If nothing else, I'll drive her out here, or we'll, if I can't get her to ride that hour and a half over here on at the highway speeds, which really she won't enjoy at all. But we'll work it out. Okay. Well, I'm going to log off here. I'm going to go back to that little road we saw and see if we can't do a little bit of shooting there too.